Hi, I'm James Jessup, the Sales and Marketing Director for PCS Thailand. Welcome back to our Facility Management Thought Leadership series, where we talk to the movers and shakers within the FM industry, with a particular focus on data, technology, and the workplace experience. Today, our spotlight's going to be on IoT, or the Internet of Things. So what is this IoT thing all about? Why is there such a buzz within the FM industry? Well, IoT has been around for quite some time, but it's only been in the last few years that IoT really has taken off within the FM industry. So how can IoT add benefit to businesses? There are literally thousands and thousands of opportunities, but I think there are three main opportunities where IoT can add value to a business. And these are the three areas. One is indoor air quality. The second one is related to critical asset uptime. And the third one is around real estate occupancy costs. So let me give you an example. So IoT, by the way, is a device or a sensor that measures something. It could measure the CO2 levels in a room, the temperature, humidity. It could also measure things like vibration, temperature, pressure on critical assets. So there are many, many different things that IoT sensors can provide. But the benefit, so let me talk about the indoor air quality. So CO2 is really, really important in terms of how efficient humans can function. So in an office environment, for example, once the CO2 level reaches a certain level, then they actually start not operating as well. They become less efficient, less productive, a little bit sleepy, and just generally not feeling great. So if we can manage those CO2 levels within a facility, then this has significant benefits to the business as a whole. And likewise, in a learning environment, a school or university, the CO2 levels will have a direct impact around the students' ability to concentrate and learn. So a normal CO2 levels would be around 800 to 1,100 parts per million. Once you start getting up into the 1,100, 1,200 parts per million, that's when students concentrate less, it's where employees are less productive. So if we could have an IoT device within a room, within the office environment, within a school, then we can actually create alerts or alarms so that when those parameters are reaching a level where they're not quite where we want them to be, the occupants, the students, the employees are notified. And this could be notified via a smartphone where you get a message to say you're now going into a zone where it's not going to be productive, or it could be actually via alert to a technician to go and investigate and fix the indoor air quality, or it could be as simple as an LCD screen in a room where you can see it going from green to yellow and then yellow to red. So really, really important things that can be done. Likewise with critical assets, if we measure some of those things that I mentioned before, vibration, temperature, pressure, once they are starting to emerge into a dangerous zone, that can trigger an alert to a technician to then go and rectify and basically stop the asset from failing. So this has huge benefits, particularly in the manufacturing sector, where we can identify emerging risks and prevent them from actually occurring and failing. So really, really important. The other area around room occupancy sensors. So in an office, particularly with COVID now, where a lot of the employees are now working from home. Yes, some are starting to come back to the office. Now is the time to be able to understand how is that office being used. So occupancy sensors via IoT can very easily identify what occupancy there is in a particular building at a particular time over a certain period of time. And then you can make some decisions with that data. That data can then say, well, based on the number of people that are coming to the office, hence the overall occupancy, we can actually reduce, for example, we might be able to close down 1 or 2 floors. And this is recognising that we're entering a new world, particularly around the workplace experience. So there's so much that can be done. What I'd like to do now is then introduce my next guest, Martin Kitching from eLOC8. Martin, welcome to the program.
Yeah, it's nice to be here.
Thank you. Perhaps you could start off by giving us a bit of an overview of what eLOC8 is and how you and eLOC8 got into the IoT space.
Yes, so I'll start off with myself. So I'm 25 years automotive and radio frequency identification experience in general management and engineering. I created the business eLOC8 based on the pain points that I had from personal experience managing factories, building factories, many problems I've had over the many years with quality problems, with energy savings, running cost-effective businesses. So this drew me to creating eLOC8, an IoT solution provider that basically is created to effectively address those pain points, to help fellow MDs, plant managers, business owners to find very cost-effective solutions using data and sensors to save money, to better motivate their people, and to make their business overall more competitive and effective.
Fantastic. And you know, you've been around for quite some time in this space. What have you seen, what's some of the big changes over the last 5 years?
So what I would say is the emergence of a lot of more technology and a lot more systems. So 2 examples are AWS, IoT site-wise, sorry. And Azure. So many of the big platforms now have purpose-built platforms that make it a lot easier to connect devices, connect machines to very secure systems that allow basically access to data, that can also push data to machines and introduce what's classed as a manufacturing exclusion system, which allows full control of the business, makes data accessible immediately, which means decision making is more fluent, more reactive, and more available. I've been in business many times where you're spending days and days just searching for the data to solve a problem. But with IoT solutions that's available to now, then everything's on your phone, everything's available immediately, anywhere at any time.
Yeah, and so I think there are a number of businesses that are, you know, embracing the IoT revolution, if you like. But what are some of the pitfalls or dangers that organisations fall into when they go down this IoT path?
For me, it's understanding what your business actually needs. So what I've seen with many businesses is that the specification and the scoping at the very beginning isn't done well. And then people are assuming that IoT is going to deliver magical things within their businesses. And to try and deliver that is then very difficult because the architecture itself isn't set up at the first instance correctly, and then it's more difficult to build up. So what we're trying to do is build up an infrastructure using different technologies like LoRa, which is long-range, low-frequency technology, where all of the communication then is done on a mesh network that allows then very easily devices just to be plugged into the system straight away to communicate directly with the system with very little cost for customers.
And would it be fair to say that while customers have embraced IoT, you know, some of the things that I'm seeing is that this IoT is punching out a lot of data, right? A lot of data, but then, you know, maybe the organisations aren't really using that data to then, you know, analyse and make decisions to improve the facility operations. Would that be a fair sort of statement, or and what's your view on that?
A lot of customers that we've seen have got data. The data's there. We went to see one in particular on Friday that's operating a 10-year-old system, and still the data's there. It's very useful, but it could be used better. Instead of just being used to identify a red button on a screen, actually this could be adapted with a few algorithms to actually control the full air conditioning system of a building.
Yeah, so in essence what you're saying is install the IoT device, get the data, but make sure then you do something with that data to do things differently to get a positive outcome for the business.
Exactly. It's what I said earlier about understanding what you want at the beginning. So then what you end up introducing isn't something that you don't already have, and something that you definitely need going forward.
So, you know, a business that is thinking, you know, there may be something in this IoT thing, as I mentioned before, it's endless possibilities. But in your experience, what are the 1 or 2 practical things that can actually make a very big positive impact to the business? You know, and let's just face it, you know, this is all about saving money. It's about making the operations run better. Where do you think most organisations can benefit the most and the quickest from IoT?
So, firstly, spending a little bit of time at the beginning to scope out exactly what's required. What are your pain points? Where are you needing to improve? Is it energy? If it's energy, then you build your infrastructure around energy savings. But with mind that them devices that you implement can also connect to the machines you've got on the shop floor in a business, or with location devices you want to track things like shopping trolleys, baskets.
Yeah.
So you want to build it so you can connect everything in the future without implementing many different systems like I've seen in many businesses. Individual systems that then are possible to integrate 5 years down the line when you try plugging it together.
Right. Okay, and then, so if I'm in business and I want to start a bit of IoT and I've got some ideas, is it a really difficult thing to implement? Does it take a long, long time? Is it a lot of planning and, you know, the install takes weeks or months, or, you know, how does it all work typically? And I know it will vary from, you know, scope to scope, but typically, is it an easy thing to do, really, really hard, or what's your view?
If the scope's correct, then this is very simple to apply. The technologies over the last 5 years have significantly improved where things are plug and play. Things do connect together very, very easily. They connect to sites like AWS, Azure, even programs like Rednode or UbiDots. So things, yes, there's a lot. Every week there's something new emerging. So it's really an emerging market that basically the solutions are all there. It's just understanding where you want to be, where you are now, what are the low-hanging fruit you can hit straight away, and make sure the infrastructure's there at the beginning.
Yeah. I mean, we've done some work recently with eLOC8, and what I was impressed was how quickly you can actually install some very simple IoT devices, get them connected, get the data out, and make some decisions which you know is going to make some benefits. And that was just within a matter of a week or two. So, you know.
Yeah. For this project, we had 1 week from scoping to actually implementing the technology. We implemented the technology within 3 hours within a huge department store. And then from that, it took a week to stabilize the data, to analyze the data, before understanding that we can actually save that client 15% reduction in energy costs.
Yeah, I mean, that's significant, right? Yeah,
in a 2-week period, it's quite phenomenal.
Very impressive. Now, the IoT devices obviously emit data, and they're connected to a broader system. You mentioned Azure before. Does that require some sort of Wi-Fi or some sort of 4G type of a network? How does it all work?
It can use a multitude of different technologies. So generally companies are using either Wi-Fi, LoRa, ultra-wideband, Bluetooth for connection within the facility, and then utilizing either 4G, GSM or LAN hardwired connection to then go direct to either a server or a cloud-based system with encrypted security API keys set up. So
I think that's the key there, because a number of customers are always nervous around data security and so on. How have you been able to overcome some of those initial concerns from customers?
To be honest, in every project we've launched so far, almost the first discussion is with the IT team of the client, and understanding the security connection that's required, making sure that the data is going in the correct path. So we have some clients that really want to keep everything on their server, don't want anything, so you want internal integration. Others are more using cloud systems. So we have many that are using either Azure or AWS. So we connect our devices to their what's classed as core thing devices, and then that communicates either to their main platforms within those cloud-based systems, or via security protocols such as API, connecting to other clouds and communicate seamlessly with other solutions.
Okay. So on this program, you know that we love to look in our crystal ball.
Yes.
So I'm going to pass the virtual crystal ball to you now.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. What does your crystal ball say for IoT over the next 5 or 10 years? What is it going to look like?
For me, what we've seen, especially over the last 1 to 2 years with COVID, is this has redefined a lot of what we see as core-based technologies. Also, it's increased and created more urgency regarding the adoption of IoT solutions into businesses. So we see from a facility management perspective that a lot of companies went with fingerprint scanners.
Right,
but now with COVID,
don't touch
it. So you've got most companies in the world now with fingerprint scanners that are effectively useless. So then you're looking at technologies like wristbands with biometric sensors that basically can connect to the same RFID scanners to still make them useful and to give the same information, the same security, but without actually touching anything. So we do see contactless becoming more and more a necessity in business. And with the emergence of technologies like ultra-wideband, we see that also cards, things like that will become a thing of the past, with both Apple and Samsung introducing their own ultra-wideband tags. NXP now is promoting heavily the use of ultra-wideband as a future technology. So we see with technologies like that, you can open your door from your car door from 5 meters away. You really don't need to touch anything, and you can program anything, so things run seamlessly without actually touching a single surface.
And you know, we've talked about workplace experience and some of our other FM Thought Leadership Series sessions, and you know, one of the key drivers for employees to return back to the office as opposed to working from home or working from anywhere is absolutely this touchless environment. So, you know, IoT has a huge role to play in the future. So data, the technology, workplace, all comes together under IoT.
Yes, just to give an example of one device that we've created that's currently just going through approvals is our eSentry, which combines thermal scanning with RFID. So it means that you cannot enter a building if you're at risk with COVID. So removing the necessity of having additional controls or devices that people don't need to touch, this basically makes it foolproof that unless you're at a good temperature, you've got the right credentials to get into a facility, and this can be also with the inclusion of biometric, that this really makes sure the right person's entering the business with the right health condition.
And I know what a lot of our viewers are thinking. They're saying, well, this sounds amazing, right? This IoT stuff is what we need, it's what I want, but how much does it cost? And I think it's fair to say that you know, the cost has come down considerably to what it was just a few years ago, and really is actually quite affordable.
I've been into even customers when we first started looking at this, and people were talking about SCADA, full PLC interface, and I'm looking at the cost that they've been given by some of the big names, which I won't mention. And to be honest, you're talking about 250,000 bucks upwards.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, what we're quoting clients at the moment is mere fraction of that sort of cost to implement even more technology than what they generally get with just a basic SCADA interface.
If anyone wants to contact eLOC8, how do they do that?
So if you wish to contact us, then please contact www.eLOC8.com, and one of our team will be happy to answer any of your questions. Thank you very much.
So Martin, that brings us to an end of our Facility Management Thought Leadership Series with a focus on IoT. Thank you so much for your insights into where IoT has come from, where it is now, and the future. It's quite an exciting times. Really, really appreciate your time. So if you'd like to contact PCS to sort of understand more about how IoT can be incorporated into your business, and also with the benefit of not only the data, but also people to bring that together, feel free to contact us at www.pcs.co.th or email us at customer@pcs.co.th. Thanks once again for joining. Stay safe and goodbye.